Canada, of course, is thinking about the possibility of mandatory vaccination, something the federal government has raised as well. We know in the here and now, vaccine mandates have forced thousands of people off the job. Now, some of those unvaccinated employees have chosen to fight back legally, filing wrong dismissal suits against their employers. For more on this, Jon Pinkus is my guest. He's an employment lawyer. Jon, good to see you today. Your take on what we're starting to see. This was not surprising because we thought this was likely to happen, but now we're starting to see it actually unfold.
That's right. I've never seen so many wrongful dismissal suits come at once in my career, and they're all different. They don't all have the same structure. There are certain people who were working remotely and were terminated nonetheless for being non-vaccinated. Some in the workplace, and in virtually all of these cases, there was no testing option either.
Tell me about the success of some of these cases, what you think the possibility might be for some of these people.
Well, none of these cases have gone to court yet. There have been a number of arbitration decisions, but one should not confuse those decisions with the non-unionized context, which involves a very different analysis and completely different considerations. So we really don't have a decision on this yet. So no one can really say with any kind of certainty that there has been any success or failure.
In terms of legal rights for people who are unvaccinated, and this is where we get to certainly crux of the issue in some ways, whether somebody can be dismissed from work over being unvaccinated, and where we stand legally in this country on that question.
Well, the general consensus in the legal profession is that a for-cause termination for non-vaccination is going to be very, very difficult for an employer to establish, because effectively what the employer is doing is they're introducing a new term of employment and saying, if you don't comply with this new term of employment, we're going to terminate your employment for cause. And that's generally not how for-cause terminations work.
So how do they work usually?
Well, usually the employee has to have done something that is fundamentally inconsistent with their duties as an employee. So, for example, they may have stolen from work, they may have committed serious dishonesty, they may have engaged in assault or serious harassment of their colleagues. Those kinds of things can be just cause. Generally speaking, a medical choice that one makes is typically not going to be just cause for dismissal.
And I know employment lawyers such as yourself have really seen a rise in these cases, some being inundated with people coming forward and saying that they want to launch a lawsuit over being unfairly dismissed as they see it. Do you think this is just the beginning?
I think it is, because what has really surprised me is just the level of blanket approach that some employers have taken. I have not seen a single medical or religious exemption considered by an employer, and the response to those has been by and large to simply ignore them. The approach has been the same for employees who work in the office, who work with vulnerable populations, and those who do not work with vulnerable populations. So I think it's not to put everything on employers, but I think just because employers generally have not taken a nuanced approach to this, I think there's going to be more and more litigation in the weeks and months to come.
Jon Pinkus, employment lawyer. Good to have you on the program, Jon, and give us your insights.
Thank you.